Oh, yes. It's 10:07. Let's call the
Okay.
meeting to order.
Just so I can get it in
Let's
my
do
minute.
a verbal roll call. April West.
Janet Kane, here.
Darcy Gasparini.
Go ahead, Martha.
Martha Leamy.
And our liaison, Chris Falls.
I'm here, Chris.
Thank you. All right, so we're here to discuss budget.
So I think I have Martha's, what she sent to us yesterday, so I'll bring that up to share. Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Everybody see that okay?
Yeah, can we
Yes.
scroll over to the most recent stuff. There we go. Thank you.
Okay. So is our, so the quinquennial is in this 21. Okay, so this is 21 and 22. So, and Martha, this is your current annual salary, 40,000?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, okay. So I guess what they're asking, Chris, I'm trying to remember, I don't, you haven't received any additional updated spreadsheets, or is this, did you add this yourself, Martha, or did you get something
This
from
is
Ed?
last year's, yeah. That's last year's. I just added the FY22 and your change. I haven't received anything.
So Chris, just FYI.
I don't know. I mentioned
No,
it
no, I
at
mean,
the select board meeting.
This is FYI, this is not,
I'm going to knock on Ed's door. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
no, I'm just saying for your information that the departments haven't received anything to resubmit, and if it's due next week, it just makes it a little tough, but Martha's creative. Not your problem. Well, maybe. So Martha, do you know what your hourly rate is right now? Is it 25.20?
Yes.
25.20, okay. And April, I'll back out anytime. Tell me to shut up. I'm just doing some calculations here for 25.2 times 1.0933. So to get, Martha's, based on the study that was done, the benchmark range is 27.55 is the midpoint, the benchmark range. And then I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm sorry. And then the maximum salary would be, anybody want to check my numbers? I'm fine with that.
Janet, can you hear me? My internet is
Yes.
unstable here. So, so how many hours are you calculating?
I'm just calculating a rate right now, but usually it's 52.2 weeks at 31 hours. Martha, is that where you work?
A week, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just calculating if you looked at the proposed range, do you want me to bring the other document up, or is this?
I have mine up on my computer.
Okay, so I'm looking at, we're down 9% to proposed range benchmark, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. And then the proposed maximum is almost 40%. So the hourly rate would either go from 27.55, which is the proposed range benchmark, to 35.25. And I don't know if we're going to get anywhere, but at least it never hurts to ask, right? So. And I don't know what I don't think the select board has decided what to do yet as far as if we do an override, where to go, so.
Now, the sheet that you sent over that has like the grades on it and then the proposed, minimum benchmark, maximum, the numbers are a little bit different. Was that not from our town?
Yeah, I think that was results of a survey that was in 2017. And this other one that Art did was updated by 2 years. So it should be a little bit higher than the ranges that are here. Because if you see Martha's salary here is less on the, so this is the original data from the study that was done.
Yeah.
What we're seeing on the screen right now.
No, this is the
No.
updated. This is a 2% increase over 2 years off of the original study.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mhm.
So the original study was in 2017. This is from November of 2019. We didn't get there was no raise or increase in, this current year. So this should be the accurate comparison at this point in time.
So
'Cause I know-
Janet, I'm confused. Sorry, what is the current employee salary for the accountant at 3188? I'm confused on what I'm looking at here. I'm sorry.
Right, this one right here. This is from the right here.
Yeah.
You're looking at the accountant. According
so-
to, this is the study that was presented that's dated November 2019.
The one that Art presented to us. Yeah.
Yes, so.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what your question is.
Well, I don't understand why it's labeled current employee salary if that's not the current salary. I'm
It is,
confused.
I think.
That's my salary.
That's their current, I'm saying this is their current salary.
Okay. All right.
The other sheet that I sent out was the original study, which was from 2017.
I got it. Okay.
And that
So this-
had three columns, three different areas, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
Okay. Got it.
does that make sense, Chris?
Yeah. No, I wasn't understanding what I was looking at. I didn't see this beforehand. I got it.
Yeah, this is a study that Art provided back in November of 2019. So this is the updated version of 2017, or updated as of a year ago, FY20.
so if we're looking at the 2520 and we add 12.53%, which I get at $3.16, did we already do this math and my computer blanked out?
No,
So that would be
go ahead. 12% means that Martha right now is above the proposed minimum salary. So that's a positive. So she's plus 12% over the proposed minimum.
But where is she? Where the benchmark is? Where is she related to the benchmark?
Yeah, so the benchmark is 2755.
Okay.
So I just took 2520 and multiplied it by 1.0933. And then the proposed maximum is 3525.
So
So
I knew it all of this. So do we need to stay within the 2.5%? Or can we go above that?
we can ask for what we feel we need and is a fair competitive salary for the principal assessor's office, but that doesn't mean we're going to get it. But if we have data from a little over a year ago, if we add another 2%, if we get a big whooping more 2% this year, if we can find it in the budget, and we move Martha to 2755 with an increase of 2%, that would put Martha at 2810 for the, I'm sorry if my logic doesn't always translate. But I'm taking the proposed range, which is 27.55, and adding 2% more for the increase this year. That would put her at 28.10.
Okay.
And again, I think this, if we do, it's not up to, we can only propose and make recommendations,
Right.
but it all comes down to the budget, and if they're going to have to do an override, I think, and if the override passes and all sorts of things, so.
So, Martha, if you're comparing the education and certifications that you need to have to do your job to the health director and the building commissioner and the town accountant, and the treasurer, how do all those compare?
I can't really say. I don't know what's required for each of those positions.
Okay. So can you,
yeah,
what do you have, what certifications do you have right now, Martha?
I have my MAA.
Okay.
I know the accountant, that position, there's a test, one test they take to get their certification. I think there's one test for the collector's office. I know the assessor's office, it's a variety of classes and tests you have to take to get the MAA. But I can't, I don't, the building department, I'm not really sure. You know, I can't speak to those departments.
I know the building department is a test, a mass test that they have to pass.
Too, yeah. It's that takes a long time.
Yeah.
And health director, I imagine that there's certifications that go along with that too. So do you have to continue, do you do continuing ed, Martha, as part of keeping your?
Yes, I have to continue to get credits to keep my designation. And I just yes. So yes, I have to continue with classes to keep my designation.
And your MAA, is there a higher certification that you can get?
You can get one through the international, the IAOO, International Association, IAAO. There's the international one. There's probably a national one. Yeah, you can keep going.
Okay.
So Martha, can I ask you a very candid question about the Easthampton position that you're going for? Do you know the salary range for that?
I do. Yes.
Would you share? If you don't have it.
I can share because I just pulled it off the website.
Well, is it the principal assessor though you're going for there?
Yep.
Okay. And this is 5 days a week?
No, they're closed on Fridays.
Oh, they are as well. Okay. Okay. Yep. Go ahead, April. I'll shut up now.
Martha, correct me if I'm wrong. They're offering a range of 28.71 to 37.66.
Correct.
Okay.
2871 to what was that again? 38?
37.66.
3766. Okay.
And
Martha, I know, do they do building inspection? I know that was there certain commercial things that you're not as, that you're not as trained in or something? I'm just trying to remember our past discussions so I can.
So I have never had a strength in commercial industrial properties because I've never worked in a community that had a large base. Right. So yes, there's that. But that's different. Bishop and Associates is also in Easthampton, and he does all their inspections and personal property and their revaluation. He does everything there. as well.
Here, okay, okay. Is there anything that's there that you're not currently doing, other than the volume of
Anything that's there,
required
there's
there?
less chapter land. So I do more chapter land here. Pretty much the same, just more of a commercial base. They have a split, they have a single tax rate, CPA, office staffed 2.
Okay. Can I turn this off now and look at everybody again?
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
I could see off to the side, but I can't read facial expressions. No.
So,
I just
go ahead, Darcy.
I just pulled up, our posting for town accountant, and it says minimum qualifications, bachelor's degree in accounting or finance, 3 years to 5 years accounting experience, preferably municipal field, and 2 years of supervisory, and must have obtained within 3 years of appointment the certificate by Mass Municipals Accountants and Auditors Association. So I don't know, Martha, where do you compare? Like, do you have bachelor's, associates, any of that?
So I have the associates, and I know a lot of postings I've seen are larger communities typically require the bachelor's degree with an MAA. Most of them I've seen, the postings are bachelor's or years related experience. So I had that. Yeah.
Okay. And what are your years related? I'm just trying to jot this all down so we can.
Yeah. So I started in 1999 as a clerk, and then worked there for Amherst for 3 years, then went to the town of Pelham as an admin assistant, but I was the only one in the office. Was there for 12 years. Then Granby, briefly, and then applied here. So
Was Granby principal assessor?
No, that was also an admin.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find your job description. I'm looking to see if I have a copy of the job description that we.
Martha, when did you start with the town?
December 2016.
And when did you take over as principal assessor when Mike went out?
Michael went out in April of 2017 and never came back. And I'd have to look at all my PCFs to see. It was kind of, I don't know. The process was a little, foreign to me. I mean, yeah.
Any other town you worked in?
Well, you're kind of, it's being that I was only here for 4 months when Michael left, I didn't know the process. I probably should have advocated, since I was alone in the office from November of 2017 until Dawn was hired in 2019. She here a year, that I'd been doing 2 jobs. So I think in other maybe larger communities where they have human resources or a personnel department, they would have known that position, they would have posted the position. I'm only assuming. I don't know how it would work in other communities.
Just and
I don't blame.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't blame my board, because I could have spoken up also. I've just, Yeah.
I mean, I think the hard part for Southampton, and it's unfortunate for anybody that has a vacancy because, when we have to pay Michael 75% of Michael's salary while he's out on short-term disability, we don't have the money to, unfortunately, to do maybe what could have been done or an idea how long that was going to be. I mean, I wasn't on the board at that time, but I know it's a challenge in town when you lose somebody that's major and you're paying 75% of their salary and you have someone that steps up and fills in. I know we increased your hours and paid you for the other hours, I believe, but that doesn't, didn't reflect on the level of work that you were doing. It was just the hours that you were working, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just take a look at too, I forget on the salary schedule that you had year to year, but you're basically you're at the end of, or almost at the end of your four-year term, right? A full 4 years of being principal assessor, right? If you're going from 17 to 18 to 19, so you're pushing almost 4 years in the job. And where have we had any change of salary over that time?
And I will say also in fairness that there was hesitation at the time to bring on somebody new, I think even from your perspective, Martha. So we were kind of waiting for you to say, I'm comfortable doing that. But yeah, if you look at principal assessor back here, the assessor wages, administrative.
No, I'm looking at from when Martha started. So what happened between 17 and 18?
Why did it go down to 20?
Yeah.
Because go ahead.
There's an assistant, much higher assistant wages there. Did your wages get broken up in 2018, Martha, into two categories?
I'm going to suggest that what happened is that Michael, we paid him $20,000 out of the salary range for the first part of that year or something. And then when he went out on short term, it went to another, I don't know where it went at that point, but Martha had an increase in hours after he, so that probably justifies going from 17 to 24. This is just my speculation.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Okay.
Because his salary would have been for 2017, and he went out in the last few months of 2017, working on the budget for 2018. So then, yes, my hours increased. So so that makes sense. And these have a count remainder of.
Where'd you go, Martha? Is she freezing up, or is it my computer that's freezing up?
No,
I think Martha was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you see our budget in 2017 was 77.9, and I think.
Mine says something about my internet.
Okay. Yeah.
So in 18 was Martha in the 20 or the 24 box?
When did you get the title? We'd have to go back and look.
So 18, I admin assistant, and I think it was all.
Okay, so am I right to say that you've completed, 2.5 years then as principal assessor? Is that about right or not? From mid-18 to?
I would say yes. So mid-18.
Okay, I don't know the history, so I just wanted to be clear.
I'm trying to think if Mike died in the fall, he was gone for like a good 6 months, right? So,
Yeah.
what was his last name? O'Connell? Okay, sorry. I'm playing happy. Something popped up on my phone. And I will say, Martha has more credentials than Mike did to be a assessor.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know,
No, I think this just shows that you've had basically a level salary pretty much for the last 3 years, essentially, right? So, I mean, I think you've got an argument to make to increase it. I'm just trying to think ahead in terms of how you can, how you can provide your justification. So I think that's a visible, but sort of speaks for itself there.
yeah, he passed away.
The other thing is, I mean, isn't the assessor job in town for levying and raising taxes the most important piece of town government?
Well, it is to make sure it's done accurately, except maybe the accountant. That's kind of all three of those, accountant, the treasurer, and the assessor, all are critical. If you don't have good qualified people in those jobs, we could be real in a big trouble, financially,
Yeah.
Now, how many years was Mike with us as assessor?
2000, I believe, 2016, early 2016, he came on and then had to leave for medical reasons in April of 2017. So a year and not even a year and a half.
So how come the rates have dropped so significantly if he didn't even have the same qualifications or as much as Martha?
What do you mean the rates drop?
Or the pay rate? Because I'm looking, is it like it went from like 64,000 in 2012,
Right.
and then you look in 2020 and we're at 40,000.
Well, you have to, in 2012, that 64,000 was two positions. It was the assessor and the assistant assessor. I think those were both full-time positions, Martha,
They were, yes.
when it was Janine and Lori.
Yeah.
So, and then I think Lori left, Mike came in, and maybe didn't make.
No, so there was actually, Shannon Cutler was in here.
No, but not as
For
assessor.
No, there wasn't a principal assessor. She in 2015, and I think before her there was somebody else kind of filling in. Yeah, I don't know. It was before me, and then Mike came in.
So this is 20.
I don't know how many applicants they had.
Yeah, I don't yet, before our time.
Yeah.
So he was
So
probably
the first part was two salaries put together.
Yes.
Okay.
Two full-time salaries sort of put together. So, I mean, I think a decision was made at some point that maybe we didn't need an assessor and an assistant assessor. We needed an assessor and a clerk. And then I think Martha was getting her feet wet to decide what it is she really needed to support her. And what was easier to do yourself or to have somebody else come in and get trained, right, Martha? So, so at that point in time, I think this must have been the year he was out on disability, because these are, I think, fiscal years. And then this is a year that Martha took over in the office full-time without really an assistant.
Okay.
And this might have been budgeted, but nobody there, Martha, right? I'm not sure, but no, you weren't, you never.
Yeah, for 2018, I didn't have anybody.
Right, but you were still the assistant, more or less, which is not what you were doing. And then 2019, you got promoted to principal assessor, doing the job you've been doing for like 6 months or a year already, so. And then we were able to bring money back into the budget for an assistant. Because you really need.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to bring that position up to what the treasurer collector assistant with no experience is getting paid. I mean, it's just how things just keep, it just gets played with. So you don't really know where things, it just doesn't make sense.
I'm just looking at, I'm trying to find administrative assistant. So, I mean, that position is more of an admin versus an assistant too. Administrative assistant that was just hired, what was she hired at, do you know?
What was she hired at?
Yeah.
What do you mean? The
Well, you said there's a big difference. So Janine is at what, 15?
15.
And so you said somebody just got hired as an admin to the treasurer collector?
In the treasurer collector's office. At like, well, I don't have what she was hired at, but I do have,
So when you look at the administrative assistants in grade 2, the volunteer coordinator in the COA is the lowest rated. The administrative assistant to the assessor is at $15. The treasurer collector is at $16.95. And the assistant to the town clerk, which is not an administrative assistant, but it's an assistant town clerk, is $16.30, I guess. So I know that's just a bunch of numbers I threw at you. So I'm just trying to get a sense of, if you look at the proposed benchmark for the administrative assistant to the assessor, it would be, we're off by 23%, for example.
So you said the benchmark like 1779, is that what you're talking about?
I'm just going to go in and do my clever little calculations here. So 15 times 1, so she's down by 23%. So the benchmark, proposed benchmark would be 1850. And honestly, I don't know that the town is going to bear everybody getting right size, but depends on what they want for their services, you know, if we do an override, so.
Right. I mean, this is a brand new position for Janine, and I would caution an increase.
How do you mean a brand new position?
No, I don't mean in her experience, but right now for this particular.
She just started.
Yeah.
She was hired like 2 months ago.
And,
right.
But it seems like you should have a starting point that everybody starting in a admin position should be starting at the same level. And then you go up from there with based on experience. So you have an admin treasurer collector starting, I don't even know what she's starting at, but it was $16.95. So if she's getting paid more than that with no experience, and we have somebody with experience, yes, she's new back to the position, but the experience you gain, I mean, it's invaluable. And that's why I was so hesitant to get in here, because I just don't have time to train someone.
Right.
Right. Yep.
It's, there's so much to know, from vehicles to personal property to, you know, exemptions, to answering questions on what's the tax rate and here's my value and why am I taxed so high, and
yeah, I mean, I think
pasture land.
the challenge we have, unfortunately, when we hire in the middle of the year is we have to stay within a budget. and that was what our budget was. So it gives us no flexibility to raise it based on the person's experience that's coming in, which is unfortunate. So, yeah, I mean, if you look at
But
what
if you're starting,
Go
but
ahead.
if you already have your budget and somebody starts having 4, 5 months of unused budget, you've
It doesn't-
got, you use that reminder to add to at least come up to an amount. Do you know what I mean?
I understand
Because
that,
that
but
money is going to be,
if next year we don't have that extra money, then where are we going to support it from? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we don't have, we could pay
Right.
it here $18 an hour this year, but unless we do an override, where are we going to find $18 an hour next year? That's the dilemma. The budget doesn't increase and carry over, especially if we have another flatly funded, level funded budget because of state funding and so on and so forth. So if we weren't going to do an override, we wouldn't have $18 an hour to pay her for next year.
right.
We could pay her this year, but we can't pay her next year.
But you'd end up cutting the number of hours maybe to make that 18, right?
But she's already working like 10 or 12 hours. I mean, many more hours does it make it so she makes more money? I mean, she's making the same amount of money, whether she's working $18 an hour, $15 an hour.
Okay.
I think if Martha needs her, we minimally for 12 hours, and so we give her 18, but we cut her back to 8 hours, then I don't think that's a good, that doesn't, I mean, it puts a Band-Aid on it, but it doesn't help
Right.
Martha. It's not what's best for the town.
Right. So
You
it
know.
goes back to what are the level of services are needed to run that office efficiently and respond to all the different needs as Martha's just kind of outlined. What is the level of service needed in terms of her hours, in terms of the assistant's hours, and try to make that argument, I think.
Yeah, that's what all this discussion is about. Yeah.
I'm going to have to skip out, guys. I've got another meeting, so I'll let
Thanks
you
for joining us, Chris.
deliberate.
Bye, Chris.
Thanks for joining.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. So, I guess, I mean, we're gonna ask for some money, right? Yeah, I mean, we're gonna ask for a budget.
So we're going to ask for what we feel we need to run the department.
So if we,
And then we have to have a really strong justification, like we probably need Martha to really help understand on a day-to-day basis the value of having somebody there with that level of experience.
yeah,
Yeah, we got her for a steal. I think we got you both for a steal. Okay. So unfortunately, that's,
well,
when,
we'd like to keep both, too. So,
and I think that the town has to be, for people that think $15.75 is too high for taxes. I mean, I know our property values are probably high, but if you go to other communities, we're pretty low tax rate. And
we're still one of the lowest in the area.
Correct.
so, I mean, we don't want to push everybody that can't afford to stay out, but we also need to make sure we have quality people to really make sure our taxes are done properly, collected properly and recorded properly. So, I think this position let's go back to Martha's and say this position has been underfunded relative to the other two key positions in town, and that's the treasurer collector and the town accountant. And the assessor should be in a similar ballpark.
So when is the budget meeting with the select board? Is it Thursday?
No, I think that's a good question. I'm not sure. I think these were due next week, and because we weren't meeting next week, or were we? When are they due? Unfortunately, Martha hasn't gotten anything more from Ed. So as you heard earlier, so
Yeah.
I think we have time. I think that this is like a good, to me, a good process to put our thoughts together, and maybe at next week's meeting. Do we have a meeting next week?
We can have a meeting next week. Yep.
Yeah, we could put it in. I think this is an important thing to, get right when we submit it.
Right.
What's our meeting? What's our meeting next week?
Did we schedule?
I don't know if we planned one.
No,
Yeah, I don't think we scheduled one.
no.
We haven't scheduled one yet.
But that would be our every 2-week meeting, so.
Right. So do you want to set a date for next meeting, or shall we continue the dollars and cents discussion here?
My personal feeling, I think we should talk a little bit more about dollars and cents, and then wrap it up at our next meeting and see what we can, we know what we need to do. So for the other stuff that we need, we don't have any fluff in here at all, right? Except the quinquennial, which comes out, but nothing else is.
Yeah, that's, I'm waiting on Bishop to get back to me and Matt to get back to me. Bishop doesn't typically change a whole lot. Maps, we'll see where we are with maps. But that's the software support, that's already been changed, and the cyclical will just stick with his fee.
Okay.
So I guess, I don't know how other people feel, but I think if you look at, compared to the proposed benchmark, the treasurer collector is higher than the proposed benchmark, and the accountant is also higher than the proposed benchmark, and we're lower than the proposed, quite a bit lower than the proposed benchmark. So it depends on, what we can do as a recommendation. Where do we fall? I don't know that we will ever match Easthampton. They have a lot more, seems like revenue that comes in. Great pot shops, giving them good revenue. But we're still dragging.
I think they're just they're a larger community, so you're going to have, even if the hours are the same, you have a lot more work to do over there. But yeah, I think we should definitely be up with, treasurer, accountant, and I think that's a pretty easy argument that they're all above and we're under.
So the towns that were looked at in this study, just so everybody knows, is Berlin, Mass, Deerfield, Granby, Groveland, Hadley, Munson, and Southwick. Those were that's what Jacobs Consulting used to do a similar study, and that's what these numbers are more or less based on.
So
Martha, could you kind of, and I know you're busy and don't have tons of time, but kind of put together like what you do on a weekly basis or monthly basis, yearly basis, so that we can present that, when we show that, this is what the assessor does, in comparison to what the treasurer does or the accountant does, or, just so we have it, like, they may not understand all that extra stuff that you're doing day to day that's bringing money into the town, and it's a very important position.
And I think the certifications play a huge part. So Martha gets $1,000 bonus for keeping her certification or something. You divide that by 31 hours a week times 52.2 weeks. That's a penny a day. And if we're looking at increasing somewhere to match the town clerk, the treasurer. Martha, what are your thoughts? Let me, because you look at the town accountant, you look at the treasurer collector, they're on the high side relative to the proposed benchmark. I'm not sure what proposed range benchmark means compared to, and then there's the maximum. So there's a minimum, which we're within the minimum. We're about 10% below the proposed range. And that would only probably with the 2% get you to about $28 an hour. So it's not that we're married to that, but what seems fair? And I think it's more your job description. If you find your job description, can you just email it to us? I'll look for it too.
Yeah.
But that lays out comparable what's required for this position, even more so than what do you do every day, is what the job description and the hiring requirements and how that compares to an accountant or a treasurer collector, or a building commissioner.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want it, because then it starts getting pitting department to department, and
I'm not asking you to compare yourself.
I mean, I know that's not.
I'm not
Yeah.
taking away
Okay.
from them.
Because I can't.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from them by any means. But you do.
No, because I just can't speak to their department. I mean, I've certainly. I know.
I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying, I think you have I think we all agree your comparable responsibilities that you have and the pressures that you have to be, the assessors and make sure everything gets done in the right time frame. And there's a lot of extra pressure that comes in on that. So that I think I just think of you three positions, not people, but those three positions as being pretty key and pretty comparable. So, and I don't know if one.
I mean, we are, yeah. All those three positions are part of the finance team,
right?
So we have to all work together in conjunction with each other.
Yeah.
So.
And I think if any one piece is missing, I think we're finding out now how challenging it is to fill that gap. And this is not a threat to say, if you don't give me this, I'm gonna quit. This is not what that's about. Or to compare you and say you need more than those people. That's just to justify.
No, I know.
I'm never asking to compare that you do more or do less or whatever. It's just the finance team should be pretty comparable. That's just my observation. I don't know how April and Darcy feel.
I agree on that.
Agree. Yeah. And I think it's high time that the assessor position be given recognition for the level of professionalism that's required.
Yeah. So
I've been online trying to find the job descriptions. Is there a spot on our website that?
I don't think that they're posted. I don't think they're posted. I think the PPPB, we submit them to them, and I think, then they hold them. And I don't know if since Art left, anybody knows how to get it. I don't know if they're digitally stored somewhere.
Okay.
I can go back.
It would be good to just look at that.
I mean, I have a few. I've seen multiple for this office. Let me find what it's under. John.
I thought I had it, but it wasn't coming up. So.
So Janet, your math at a 2% increase, you get up to 28 and change?
No, I get to a 2810 based on a 2. So I took the Martha's salary.
Yeah.
I added the 9% that she's below the benchmark range.
Oh, okay.
Added another 2% on top of that. So for a raise this year moving forward. So.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep. Now that makes sense to me.
Okay. Sorry.
That's all right. just missed the 9% there.
Yeah, so the 2520
Yep,
times the 9%, 9 no, I'm sorry, it's 1.0934 times 2520. So that's 2755. And then if we bump that by the 2% that we get annually or that we miss annually, that brings us up to 2810. So it's still below, and I don't get the sense that they're going to necessarily increase everybody's salary. I think they may be looking at the people that are outliers first and try to write them, get those in line, which I think certainly the principal assessor's position falls into that.
and so that should be our argument, is to bring that position in line.
Yeah, yep.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
Um,
and then maybe 2810 isn't sufficient, so, you know.
Right.
And again, I'm not complaining that the treasurer collector is above the benchmark or that the town accountant is above the benchmark. God bless them.
Right.
It's just, how do we get Martha in that same range, you know?
Right. I think we ought to reach to get up to a median of those two positions. And then if we're not able to do that, then at least, you know, the hourly will be hopefully near 29.
So that would be about $31 an hour.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
31,
how do people feel? Should we reach or should we go in with, yeah, I think that's fair. And then
Now,
if they come back with a slightly lower recommendation, then we're still in a much better position than we are right now.
so that would be like 50,383 as an annual.
Yeah, how many hours are we doing here?
31
Okay,
times 52.2 weeks.
yeah. 52.2?
Yes, don't ask me why, but that's usually what it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, if that's how it would work, is we ask for this and then they try to beat us down a little bit if they don't accept it. But I think it's a very good argument that it should be comparable to the other departments. And again, not that you're saying that they're not worth what they're getting paid, but
No, that-
saying that they should
Yeah,
all be
right.
equal,
Yeah.
right?
I
Not,
mean-
you know,
Yeah. Going
comparing apples to apples.
Right, going forward, if we, God forbid, have to advertise for this position, we need to be competitive.
Mhm.
Yep. But it's all going to depend on an override, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And then.
Is it looking like an override just for payroll? I mean, not specifically the assessors, or are there other things that will have to be in the override? Are there other trucks, the bridge?
No, that stuff is all, that's not in the general. So those would be not specific to, I mean, I don't think they have the details yet, but I think the override that Matt kind of brought up is like, we struggle every year just to be level funded. So it needs to be time that we make that big step. And I know it's a pandemic year, so it makes it really tough, I think. But to really, let's get enough money in the budget so we're not penny pitching every year to try to just balance the budget, and I think that with our tax rate being low, even though our average cost per house is probably high compared to a lot of the communities that have higher tax rates, I think that it's going to be a lot of about just paying for the services that are delivered by the town, and if that would include salaries as well. So that was our argument with Chris last week, and that's what they talked about at the select board meeting. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but otherwise we give you 2% raise, Martha, on 25-20.
Yeah.
Those are the two options, basically.
Right.
Let's go for option one. Yeah.
I mean, this would be based on an override, 31.14 per hour.
Okay. And then what are we going to look for the assistant position? Would that be at least equal to the admin that was just hired?
Let me go back to, I think if we look at.
I think it.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I think at least comparable to that.
Yeah, I think that if we use the same logic for that position, and we see that she's the administrative assistant to the assessor is 23% below the proposed benchmark, then we ask for 1850 to right size that position. And maybe, does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because really, I mean, what is minimum wage now? 15 something?
Well,
So-
it doesn't apply to municipalities. This is
Doesn't, okay.
That's the hard part. The state minimum wage in Massachusetts is $15 an hour unless you work for the government. Then
Okay.
it goes by the federal wages, which is what, $7.25 or something?
Okay.
So I think, have tried to push everybody else up to. So Chris is saying she thinks there's some guidance. Did you get something in your inbox, Martha, in the mailbox? The physical mailbox in the break room?
Oh, let me go check. And I just emailed Ed
Okay.
just to see if he sent anything out.
Because I know he's going to put stuff in. So $15 an hour times the 23.34%. That's $20.10. Oh, wait, how did that happen? Oh, maybe so 15 times 1.34. Oh, it's 23. Sorry, that's how that happened. Okay, 15 times 1.2334 equals 1851 times 1.02 for the 2% is 1887.
Yep, I got the same.
Oh boy, we're dangerous now. I need somebody to check. I need my typos corrected, forget my math. I definitely need another set up. So, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get this. We can only say this is what's fair if you're going to do an override. I guess what they said at the meeting was give it based on a 2% increase and then give it based on the needs of the office. And this is not a wish list. This is the needs of the office to be competitive and to make it in line with other departments.
I think that's a very reasonable request.
It is. We just don't have the money to do it unless we get an override passed.
Right.
Hi, Box.
Hi.
Hi, sorry, there's nothing in my box.
Okay.
So did you get something last week then from him, like a letter or something, or the guidelines, or? Because I think
Oh.
last week he put something in the people's mailboxes with the guidelines that were emailed out, but
Yes, I did get that.
does that give you any guidance at all, or? Is it clear as mud?
Hey, the longer we stay on this meeting, the less time I have to shovel, or the more I can put it on.
Well, Francine's out shoveling now, so I'm in good shape.
I'll have to find it. I think it's in with all these papers, budgets and stuff.
Okay, yeah, there may be some guidelines there, Martha.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see, I know I got one from Joan, but I'm trying to find it. Okay, let me see. Let me see if this is it. Okay, let me just share this for a second. This should be this. Okay. So this was back in January 10th, he came up with this, so a very tight budget. This is without the override included. Can everybody read that, or?
Not really.
I hear you.
I'm getting close.
I just increased it to 150%.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Does it need bigger?
No,
that's
this is
for
good.
me.
So it says
Legally is just keeping everything what it was, and Reggie's supposed to send an electronic spreadsheet. So
yes, so that's what's due next week. So,
that's what I got out of it.
but still don't have the electronic spreadsheet.
No. And it's not in my spam. No. Junk. No.
Because you're going to have to go to the finance committee. To talk about this, because it'll be a Zoom finance committee, so that's the good news. But in order to help justify that and get it through them. So they ask for a full narrative explanation, which you usually do. But if we're going to ask for a salary increase, then that would have to be added to what you normally put in your. You may also include a small wish list. It's not supposed to be a wish list. It's supposed to be a needs list. This is not a wishful thinking. This is what we need to be fair and competitive. Based on other salaries in town and based on the proposed study. So
one of us or all of us should attend the finance when this is being presented.
yeah, I think so. All of us or one of us, or Martha plus the chair or whatever works out.
All right, I certainly would not want to put Martha in the position of being on her own.
Oh, no, Martha plus one at least, minimally.
All right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, go ahead, Janet.
I guess maybe Martha, how many years have you worked in an assessor's office? Hey, if you could outline, I don't know if, did you take down all those notes, April, or no? I mean, my minutes are going to be pretty short, that we had a discussion around increase in fair competitive and blah, blah, blah. But
Okay.
if we can, or, for the justification.
Right. So
I have-
Martha, you've got like 16 years of experience in other municipal offices. Am I right?
Since 1999, so.
And yeah, the year my son was born. So
Did
Not
you work
quite.
when did you work in the school district? I thought you worked in a school district sometime along there, or no?
oh, that's true. Sorry. Shame on me. For 2012 for 4 years.
4 years? Okay. I mean, I just wanted, because I don't want to get caught with somebody saying, yeah, but, so.
No, you're right. I don't want to put something out that's not accurate.
Okay.
I just feel like I've never left.
Ooh.
So are we accurate in saying that you were a clerk in Amherst? Were you in the assessor's office and also in Pelham, the assessor's office?
Yes.
I was a clerk in the assessor's office in Amherst, and I was the assistant assessor in Pelham.
Okay, so between those two positions, there's 15 years, because you said 12 years in Pelham and 3 years in Amherst.
Yes.
Okay. And then you started with us in the end of 2016, so we're in the fifth year of your being with the town. So you've got
That doesn't
20
add up.
No.
It doesn't add up because you have the 4 years that you were at the school. So somewhere there was,
Hmm.
Well, I mean, total years, 3, 2003 to 2000. So, all right, 1999 to 2002, then 2003. So there was almost a year, 3 to fall of 2012.
okay. So that's 9 years. So that's
And then 2016. So 2016
So
to
17 out of the last,
Yeah.
17 out of the
5
last.
years here.
Yeah, okay. Yep. So that's a total of 17. I just want to make sure because, I just want to.
Because it was 12, 2016, so it'd be 4 years here, right?
Well, this is the fifth year, right? So,
Yeah, you're heading into. the
Yeah,
fifth.
December
Yeah.
2020 was my 4th year. Okay,
so you started, you're in your fifth year. That I can live with.
I'm in my 5th year,
Yeah.
just in my
Okay.
5th year.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, do I have a motion to look for 31.14 an hour for the fiscal year 21?
22.
I mean,
FY
fiscal year
22.
22 pay rate for principal assessor. And added to that an 1887 pay rate for the assistant to the assessor position.
Yeah, because this is not necessarily answering the phone and, it's a little bit
Right.
more than just an administration. Yeah.
No, this is bringing in tax money.
Yeah.
So should Janine's title actually be like assistant assessor, or is that you can't change it once she's already in the job?
I think you would have to do a PRF
A PCF, I think. Well, we might have to
or
post the job.
PCF.
We might need to post the job because I'd have to, I'm going on my memory now, but we would have to change her title. So and request the higher raise for an assistant assessor versus an administrative assistant.
I mean, I don't see that the pay increase is fine under the admin assistant, just based on the study that was done, because they have it being under the proposed. So it's not like we need to change the title.
Right.
Because you're not changing my title.
Right.
Okay.
So that would just add another challenge, I think, to try to change the title.
All right, so I guess I need that motion seconded. I mean,
So
can I?
Actually, I'll make a motion. Because I'm sure the chair can't make a motion, so I've heard that we submit under the needs category, a hourly rate of $31.14 for the principal assessor's position and a rate of $18.87 for the administrative assistant to the assessor's position.
I second that.
Thank you. All those in favor? West, aye.
Kane, aye.
Gasparini, aye.
Okay, great. So, Martha, those are the numbers that we'll be putting into the budget.
Okay.
So it's 50,164. Do we go to cents in these budgets or?
I would.
So 50,164.20 annually.
Or we can round up or down on that. Yeah, well, I was thinking of the hourly rate, probably when we get to the 50,384. Is that what you said?
No, 164. You said it's 31 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
14 times 52.2.
Yes.
Oh, I got 950,000. No, something's wrong.
That's a good deal.
I'll take it.
31.14. Then she'd never leave. Times 31 times 52.2 equals 50,391.
Yep, that's what my new math is. I think I was just doing the 52 weeks. All right.
Yeah. So we're rounding up to
Yeah.
391.
Close enough.
Yeah.
And then 1887 times 12 times, and that's just 50 weeks, right? Because we're doing unpaid vacation time.
I would just do the 52.2 anyway, and they can adjust it. Because I know.
Okay. 11,820.17, so 11,820.
Okay.
How many hours is Janine?
12.
Well,
And then a page of justification.
Yes.
You want to draft something, April, and then we'll send it out to us, and we'll
Yeah, I
do
will.
whatever. Is that okay?
Yep.
And if you have the job description, yeah, that'll help us with the justification, Martha, because I know that even though you have an associate's degree and the certification, you still have worked in the fields for so many years. That's in exchange for a bachelor's degree, experience. So,
Yep.
Right.
I'm not opposed to getting my bachelor's.
Are you? Good for
So
you.
Well, no, I'm not doing anything towards it. I'm not opposed to it. Just
Okay, you're not.
Yeah, no, I
thought you said closed. Okay.
In
no,
your,
I would.
in your
no,
free
I would.
time, Martha, yes.
Yeah.
Do it now while your son's in college. The financial aid would bump up.
Oh, true. Yeah. I mean, I only
Speaking
need.
from experience.
My kids threatened me that if I decided to go back to college while they were in college, they wouldn't like that very much.
Why?
I don't know.
Right. I don't think mine would care.
Yeah.
As long as it's not the same school.
Well, yes, definitely not. I'm not trucking my butt to Maine.
Yeah.
We could all hang out in the Rathskeller together, you know?
Okay, so we'll get this done and over to Ed. Probably copy Chris as our liaison.
I mean, we have till next Thursday, so we can wrap it up on Tuesday if we're going to meet Tuesday. Do we need to meet Tuesday? That's our usual meeting, but it's up
Was
to
the
you.
date the 8th on there?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
for
you wanted it-
Ed.
So that would be Monday?
Yeah, hear you.
Yeah.
So it's a day and 2 days late, can I tell you? That's why we scrambled to do, whatever you guys want to do is fine, you know, I'm good.
So why don't we have our normal on the 9th at 4:30? Does that work for everyone?
Yep. Yep.
And we will let Ed know that we are close to having our numbers. Actually, maybe we should submit when we get this pulled together with our narrative, so Ed can put it in the spreadsheet, and then he can tweak it after we vote on it on Tuesday. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So next Tuesday at 4:30?
Do 9 at 4:30. Yep, I'll get it posted.
Okay.
Try to get my minutes done sometime
Thank you.
beforehand.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I'm going to start making April log in as the host of the meeting.
No. I'm going to have to start learning the technology piece of it. I
I'm
need to
happy.
learn how to put spreadsheets up and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's easy. Once you do it once, you'll be fine. Do you host Zoom meetings at all or no?
I have hosted a couple for, yeah,
Okay.
for church stuff. Yep.
I figured you did.
Okay. Anything else we need to talk about?
I adjourn. I vote for I move for an adjournment.
Second that.
Okay. We are officially adjourned at 11:25. Thank you all for joining, and happy shoveling.
Hopefully it's done. Can we meet for another half an hour?